I moved into a new house with my parents and older brothers when I was about 8 years old. It was an unusually big house, but also extremely old. The walls were cracked and just about everything was covered in dirt, but 8-year-old me didn't care. I was just excited to explore the new house to see what it had to offer with my brothers. We didn't even mind that we had to do it while cleaning the place. Our first day there was spent moving our stuff in and cleaning what would become our bedrooms. My brothers and I were excited when we found out that we'd actually get our own rooms. We spent the entire day decorating our rooms. Adam, our eldest brother at 12 years old, got a bedroom that was almost as big as our parents'. Eric, my 10-year-old brother and the middle child of the family, got a pretty decent room with a nice view of the neighborhood through the window. As for me, being the youngest sibling, I, of course, got the smallest and shittiest room on the top floor, right under the attic. I didn't mind though. I was just glad that I'd no longer have to listen to my brother snoring every night. I went to bed on my first night there, feeling hopeful for the next day. We had about a week until we would have to start going to the new school our parents enrolled us in, and I was thinking of ways to make the best of it. For once, I wanted to go to sleep early, so I'd have more energy to do things the next day. But sleep didn't come easy to me that night. As I laid on my new bed trying to force myself to sleep, I heard the sound of old wood creaking from somewhere nearby. I'm a light sleeper, so I just laid there with my eyes wide open, waiting for it to go away. At first, I thought it was just the house settling itself, or just the old wood creaking under the weight of its own age. But the more I listened, the more I was able to pinpoint where the sound was coming from. It seemed to be concentrated above me, in the ceiling. With eyes almost adjusted to the dark, I skimmed through the dirty, speckled ceiling, and noticed that each time I heard the noise, it would be accompanied by a tiny stream of fine dust falling from above. Mice in the ceiling, I thought, or maybe raccoons. I always wanted to see one up close. I put exploring the attic on my to-do list for the next day. When the next morning came, I ate breakfast with my parents before they went to work. Once they were gone, Adam and Eric called me over to the backyard for a round of tag before I could finish my meal. I scarfed down the eggs and bacon and took a couple of bites in the toast before leaving the rest of it on the plate to go play with my brothers. Our game of tag went about as well as you'd expect from an 8-year-old going up against kids who were 2 and 4 years older than him. I got tagged almost immediately and spent the next hour desperately trying to catch up to my older brothers in our enormous backyard. They had some fun laughing and teasing me at first, but started to feel sorry for me after a while and called off the game. By the end of it, I was sweating on the grass and gasping for air as my brothers sat beside me waiting for me to catch my breath. When I did, they asked me if I wanted to keep playing, and I told them that it would be great if we could play something else, preferably something with an even playing field for the 3 of us. In the end, we decided on hide and seek. It'd give us a fun way to get to know the house better too, so we'd be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Adam volunteered to be the seeker, since his height would help him look around more easily, and Eric and I should have an easier time hiding because of our smaller size. Adam turned around and loudly counted from 1 to 100, while Eric and I scrambled into the house to find a hiding spot. We both dashed past the dining room in a hurry, but as I did, I noticed something odd. My plate at the dining table laid empty, even though I distinctly remember leaving a bit of toast on it before joining my brothers outside. I didn't think much of it though. I was in the middle of a game after all. And after my humiliating defeat in tag, I was determined to win in hide and seek. I ran around the top floor trying to find a good place to hide. All the while, the voice of Adam counted from outside. I was going to hide in the wardrobe when I noticed that the attic entrance was ever so slightly ajar. The entrance to the attic was a trap door with a pull-down staircase on the ceiling, attached to a piece of rope long enough even for me to pull down. The first thing I thought was that the attic would be a perfect place to hide. Nobody had been there before, not even Mom or Dad, so Adam and Eric would have no chance trying to find him there. I pulled the string and an old wooden staircase lowered smoothly from the ceiling, despite its immense age. I carefully ascended, taking care to not put too much weight into my steps and to not accidentally break them. They were a lot sturdier than I thought they'd be. There wasn't even any dust on them. I poked my head into the attic to see if there were any good hiding spots. I wasn't expecting to see what I did. Strewn all around the floor were empty bags of junk food and wrappers. There was also a trail of dark brown crumbs from toasted bread that led deep into the shadows of the attic. I could even hear the sound of the toast crunching as something or someone was eating it in the attic. I thought that it was probably just the raccoon I'd heard the night before and followed the trail of toasted breadcrumbs with my eyes and waited for them to adjust to the darkness. I felt my blood freeze in fear when they adjusted to the darkness enough to let me see the thing that had been hiding in the attic. Instead of a raccoon, I saw a person. A man in dirty, tattered clothes crouched on top of a patch of old newspaper laid on the floor as a sort of makeshift bed, munching down on my leftover toast with both hands. I let out an audible gasp in surprise before I could stop myself. The moment I did, the man's head spun in my direction, and I was able to see his face for the first time. He had a filthy, ragged beard covered in crumbs and lice, and his gaunt frame spoke of years of malnutrition. But worst of all were his eyes. Black, bloodshot eyes staring straight at me, with a desperate hunger I can't even begin to describe. I knew at that moment that I didn't look like a person to him, just an easy meal that'll fill him far better than the leftovers he's been living on. Drool overflowed his ravenous jaws, and he lunged at me with arms outstretched to catch me. I ducked just in time, pressing myself against the steps. The man flew over me and tumbled down the old staircase. I took the opportunity to make a run for it as fast as I could. I found Adam still searching for Eric and I in the living room, and quickly told him the situation. He took me outside and called the police on his phone. We were able to wait outside in safety until the police came by to search the house. Eric wasn't so lucky. When the police searched the house for our intruder, they found him hunched over Eric's eviscerated body in the master bedroom, holding a knife he stole from the kitchen. He was pulling out my brother's organs one by one from a wide slit in his abdomen and eating them with the ferocity of a starving animal. According to the police, the last thing the man said before they shot him dead was this:
"I know all the places to hide in this house.